Most people hate their job. And while it's definitely true that some people may be overreacting, many people really can't be blamed. Because once you look at the 7 most common reasons people don't feel rewarded at work anymore, there's a good chance you'll recognize yourself in at least one of them. And if you don't, congratulations. This video might actually be a sign that you're doing better than you think. So without further ado, let's get into it. One of the funniest questions we often get asked in interviews is, why do you want this job? And while most of us are not courageous enough to say that it's because we want to get paid, that might explain why not being paid enough is the first reason people don't feel rewarded at work anymore. To give you an idea how bad it is, in the US, the median after-tax income for an individual sits roughly around $3,300 to $3,700 a month, depending on the source and location. Now compare that to the price of housing. The median rent in the US is now well over $1,300 a month, and the median mortgage payment is often over $1,800 a month. That's before utilities, food, healthcare, transportation, or insurance. And don't even get me started if you have children or some pets. So many people pay well over half of their salary just to have a place to sleep, or they are forced to live with a roommate or a partner they don't like, simply to get by. So when your job barely covers your survival, no wonder you don't feel like you're thriving in life. Many studies even mention that the #1 reason people quit their job is actually because they don't think they are paid enough. Something you might want to keep in mind if you also plan to become an entrepreneur with many employees, or if you are currently a recruiter. The next reason is that many people simply don't feel respected. Surprisingly, multiple workplace studies have found that feeling respected by managers and coworkers sometimes is ranking higher in work satisfaction than getting a higher pay. That's why Gallup surveys repeatedly show that employees who feel ignored, talked down to, or treated as replaceable report significantly lower engagement and motivation at work. And we're not just talking about being polite here. Being listened to, trusted, and acknowledged are all part of qualities that make most of us feel respected at our workplace. One of the reasons it ranks so high is that, believe it or not, some people are actually satisfied with their salary, and once that is taken care of, how you treat these people make even a bigger difference. For those who are not satisfied with their income, some of them don't even think they can get better in the first place, and they just want to feel respected. For example, a lot of students don't care how much their employer actually pay them. They just want to be recognized for their efforts and leave the job once they graduate, with the extra experience to add to their CV. The next reason is that people don't feel like they're growing any skills. Many roles today are highly specialized, repetitive, and offer very limited skill development. And if that wasn't enough, promotions are harder to get. And if someone tries to leave for a better role elsewhere, they often run into the same problem: entry-level requirements for mid-level jobs, or experience requirements that feel impossible to meet without already having the job. So even if you're lucky enough to have a good pay and also have respect at your job, it can be hard to find extra motivation when you know your salary is quite locked and your growth potential is limited. Especially when you know that everything else like food prices or rent are certainly not stopping to grow on their ends. And some studies even say that after being paid too low, the #1 reason why people quit their job is actually because of lack of opportunities for growth, especially for people with higher education and also in some growing industries like tech. This need for growth is so prevalent that some people even seek to literally leave their country to find more growing opportunities outside their region if it feels or seems impossible where they currently live. Since not everyone can start an entrepreneurship journey or take more risks, the easiest and simplest path is often growth through their jobs and careers, as most positions are capped salary-wise. All of that explains why it is such a huge reason of job quitting that sometimes even employers can feel out of touch with. Now, if you are indeed paid enough, respected, and do have growth opportunities, the next reason why you may not feel rewarded could be because you don't actually have any autonomy. Now, not everyone wants full freedom at work, but for many people, having zero control over how, when, or where they work can be deeply frustrating. A lot of people simply do not like their job because they have to take the burden of the mistakes of others with unrealistic deadlines at the wrong time or at the wrong place. A lot of that could be fixed with flexible hours, decision-making power, or simply being trusted to do the job without constant monitoring. But when every task is micromanaged, people often lose their creativity, and the job becomes mechanical instead of meaningful. Now, some employers actually realize that even without changing the salary and work amount of their employees, by simply letting them work from home, the overall productivity actually increased, as well as the retention of employees. As what, sometimes the solution isn't as crazy as we think. But if your job can't afford to have you work from home or with any form of flexible hours, one thing that you probably have to deal with are coworkers. And for many of us, we can't always pick them, which is why it is the fifth reason. While it's not surprising that research shows that toxic coworkers increase stress, reduce productivity, and significantly raise burnout levels, it's interesting to learn that negative behaviors like gossip, passive aggression, lack of accountability, or poor communication actually tend to spread among people more than we realize. That means that if no one actually gossip, the gossips just tend to end. But only having one in the workplace is the highest likeliness of having a second. No wonder psychologists often describe workplace negativity as contagious. One consistently toxic person can drag down an entire team's morale, but also personal habits. And when you're forced to spend most of your waking hours around people you don't trust or respect, the job becomes emotionally draining no matter the salary. The next reason is that most people don't feel like they make an impact. We as humans have a deep need to feel useful, and many studies have shown that people are far more satisfied at work when they believe their efforts actually matter to customers, coworkers, or society at large. To the point that jobs in construction, for example, have some of the best retention in the world. Studies report that it's mainly because they have the constant satisfaction of seeing the tangible results of their work. But many modern jobs feel disconnected from real outcomes. Many of the administrative jobs that haven't been taken away by AI yet focus a lot on pushing numbers, sending emails, or attending 5 meetings per day. And by the end of it, it's unclear whether anything truly changed because of you. So even if the job is comfortable, if it feels meaningless, it might leave you feeling meaningless as well. And finally, the last reason is because people know they're easily replaceable. Many employees know consciously or not that if they left tomorrow, their role would be filled within weeks. Studies on organizational loyalty show that perceived replaceability strongly reduces emotional attachment to work. When companies treat people as interchangeable parts instead of long-term contributors, it's no surprise employees stop investing emotionally. While we can't blame companies for being efficient at getting workers, it surely doesn't help the common worker feeling important in its work. But one of the most common ways some employers fix that problem in a win-win fashion for them and the employee is to give the opportunity to their workers to learn extra skills inside the company. The company benefits by having more skilled workers, and the employees benefit by being harder to replace. When applicable, this strategy makes both parts benefit here. So, if you recognized yourself in even one of these 7 reasons why people don't feel rewarded at their job, now you know that you're not alone. But if you didn't, congratulations, you probably have a good job. And if this video resonated with you and you want to see similar videos, give it a like and click on one of the videos on your screen right now.